What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John, and welcome back to Gearbox. So today, we're in the Supra, we're leaving work, and we are headed to a dentist appointment, which is not very fun, but it is something that you need to do as an adult. You know, I'm 27, I need to be a big boy and take care of my shit, both physical, assets, as well as the best asset you have, in my opinion, and that is your body. So we're going to the dentist, having a super fun time doing so, but I wanted to pick up the camera and talk about the lovely, the wonderful A90 Supra. Now, I'll start off this video by saying I literally just placed an order for this car. Obviously, we did the air intake last week or the week before. I forget. It's been a hectic one. But we just placed another order, which I am going to leave a secret for now. But let's just say she's going to be, her presence will be known. How about that? So anyway, we did that, but as I was on a certain website looking at a certain type of modification, I got to thinking, as much as I love this car, and as aggressive as it might be from factory, there's still some, I don't know, it's not even like areas for improvement. It's more so there's this level of aggressiveness that this car comes from standard, and then there's the level of aggressive that I like for a sports car like this. Now, am I the type of person to run like a fucking crazy wide body kit and like a chassis mount wing and all that shit? No, but I prefer kind of like an OEM plus type of look. Now, let's stop right there. If you have been with the channel for a while, or maybe, just maybe, if you want to pause this video and go back through my channel, the 2019 Subaru WRX that I loved so much and did a lot to, really a big part of that build was, one, and most importantly, in my opinion, a learning experience. Because I had never worked on cars. I never grew up, with my dad or grandpa or something. Like, most people have these stories and they're like, oh yeah, I remember restoring this car with my dad. Or I remember my dad had a Corvette and we'd always work. No, I've literally never had that experience ever. I'm kind of the one that got myself into cars and therefore had to teach myself about cars and working on cars and that type of stuff. So, with that being said, with the WRX, I knew that I liked the JDM platform. I knew that I liked the idea of working on cars, but I did not know shit about doing so. I mean, the second that I put on my first cold air intake on that car, I thought that, call up all the big manufacturers, here we are, I'm some big deal. And in reality, no, that's easy shit. But I like it. I like the feeling of working on cars and make it your own and all that type of stuff. And, that's where I'm at with the Supra right now. But anyway, all tangents aside, the WRX, if I had to categorize that car as far as mods and that type of stuff, I would say 80% of the modifications on that car were in some way, shape, or form aesthetic. Now, yes, does a spoiler have a performance gain? Maybe. Not at the speeds that you drive it on the streets, but maybe. Do coilovers have, something? Absolutely. Do front lips add some sort of aerodynamic factors? Do adding in brake ducts or whatever? Yes, they all technically have something to do with performance. But let's be honest, the way that I'm driving them, the way that you're driving them, no, they don't do shit. They just look cool. And so that was the majority of the WRX. So going around the car from top of mind, Let's start at the front. We had a grill, which is actually pretty cool. We had fog light bezels with brake ducts in them. We had a front lip. We had headlights. We had side skirts. We had taillights. We did not do a diffuser on that car, which could have, but looking back would have been a pain in the ass. So anyway, a lot of these parts were aesthetic and made the car kind of stand out and be John's car. You know, not just another WRX, but John's car. And, you know, it was a learning experience in of itself. Before doing that, I had never done a front lip. I'd never had to mask anything up and drill pilot holes on a car that I owned. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's as stupid as it sounds now, that is a huge step forward. Like, you're taking an expensive vehicle that you worked hard for and you pay for, and at that time, you know, I was making shit money. Like, all of my money went into that damn car, and I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna get a drill bit and we're gonna just hammer this thing out, and hopefully it works, because there's really no going back, you know, like that type of stuff. And looking back on it now, I really, really appreciate those days. I really, really appreciate that car for giving me the opportunity to learn on that platform. But now we're on to bigger and better things. Now we're on a different platform. And now, at least I like to think, we know what the hell we're doing. So what I want to do, basically, is start to do more aesthetic mods. As you can see, maybe out the back window here, we have the duckbill, and the duckbill's great, and I love that thing. Like, that in of itself, if you're gonna do the first aesthetic mod for an A90, do some sort of wing. You probably wouldn't think it would make that big of a difference, but in my opinion, it's night and day. But I want to start getting into more aesthetic mods. Now, one thing I will admit right now, part of the reason I want to do this, and more specifically, part of the reason I want to get a front lip, is because when I bought this car used, the kind of like right up there, part of the front lip, so driver's side front lip, the previous owner didn't like crack it, but didn't exactly do it any favors with like a curb or something, which I don't quite understand, because this car at stock ride height is not that like short and low. So I feel like you'd really have to make an uh-oh in order to do that. But that little blemish does irritate the shit out of me, and it's not something that you would necessarily recognize the first time you saw this car, but if you looked at it hard enough, you would see it. So that's part of it. But once again, I also want to make it its own thing. Like, even the duckbill, like, yeah, sure, you know, it doesn't come like that from factory, but it is something that is a very, very popular mod for this car, and that's okay. I mean, obviously, if it's popular, a lot of people like it and they appreciate the styling that it brings to the car. But I want to be able to pick this Supra out of a crowd of 50 silver A90 Supras and be like, that's my car. And other people can say, that's John's car, that's John's Supra. And I feel like the best way to do that is aesthetically. So let's talk about it. Front lip, diffuser, for sure. I feel like side skirts would eventually come into play. So if you're gonna do the front and the back, then the sides look all wonky and whatever. I feel like you have to do that to balance it out, but not completely necessary. And then lighting. You guys know that I am what I would classify as a trailer park whore for cool lighting. Now, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I think the lighting on this car is sick from factory. I think the taillights are cool. I think the headlights are cool. I think the reverse light looking, you know, basically being an F1 light is sick. Like, I think Toyota, BMW, whoever did a phenomenal job with the styling of this car in the lighting department. But once again, I want to stick out. I want it to be some of those OEM plus, you know, more subtle intricacies that make this car my own. And I feel like one of the best ways to do that is through lighting. Obviously from an aesthetic way as well. We've already done the wheels, we've done the tires, not that that's aesthetic, that's performance, but you know, we've done some things already, but I think that I want to dive into that. Another thing to consider, a carbon fiber hood. I wanted to do that on the WRX, I didn't, and I regret doing it. But I do think that this darker gray on this car would lend itself to look better with a raw, you know, carbon fiber hood than the ice silver metallic gray WRX would. So there are a lot of things where, you know, I've just got all this shit racing through my mind and I want to do it so bad. But at the end of the day, guys, I don't know. I have not done enough research. But because I had this come to my mind, and because I had this camera right here sitting in my passenger seat today, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna come to these guys with, with any crazy revelations on the Supra. I'm not gonna talk about any crazy news going on in the automotive world. I just want to ask for help, right? So that's to you, to all of those that have seen cool Supras, to all of those that own cool Supras and have the aesthetic stuff down, please drop some comments down below, guys. I really don't know what I'm looking for. I have an idea from like a mental picture of the car, what I would like, but I don't know any brands, I don't know any styles or anything like that. So I'm really leaning on you guys. So if you all could go ahead, drop a comment of some of your suggestions, that would be greatly appreciated. If you like this video and you're excited to see where this Supra ends up aesthetically speaking or just in general, please give this video a big fat thumbs up. And as always, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill. And until next time, peace.